have 5:00. Well, have 3. Go ahead. We'll be flexible. And first order of business, we're going to do introduction of board members. Linda, you want to start?
Linda Barrett, clerk.
Thank you.
Phil Biederman, Wibb, Middlebury.
Austin Haynes, New Haven. I'm the business manager, and over to you, Joe.
Live in New Haven. Community at large member from the Mount Abraham School District and chairperson of in Fargo. Gentlemen, your turn.
William Vaughn. I live in Ripton.
And you'll be teaching.
And I'll be teaching electrical. What's the
Technology.
electrical
That's those
technology?
guys.
Chris Mendenhall, I live in Bristol, and I will be teaching the Game Art and Animation program.
Steve Cox, Middlebury.
Jillian Ziegler, Director of Curriculum and Instruction. I'm here to present a presentation tonight.
I'm Christina Macklin. I live in North Ferrisburg, and I'm the Addison Northwest School District rep.
Wendy Pratt, Assistant Director.
Nicole McTavish, Superintendent Director.
Vance Bishop, Middlebury at large.
Thank you.
Shannon Thurper, Executive Admin and HR Assistant.
David Roberts, Director of Operations.
And Chrissy?
Hi, Chrissy Wesley, Workforce Development and resident of East Middlebury.
Is Liz on?
Not yet.
Liz is not.
You do not have to sing a song or anything like that.
Thank goodness.
But you do have to introduce yourself.
Laura Harthan, ACSD representative to the board.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're on a tour and you come back late, they make you do something. Yeah, anyway. Oh, right, I think we're all set. If Liz comes on, let us know, please. She can introduce herself. First call of business, need a motion to approve the agenda in front of you.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Christine, second. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Hi.
Thank you. Second motion to approve the minutes on March 19th, 2026 annual meeting minutes. Motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Point of order, it's not annual meeting minutes.
Okay,
only
it's just the March 19th.
It's the regular one.
Thank you. We don't have to approve those annual meeting minutes, do we?
You approve them at the next annual
That's what I
meeting.
thought, the next, next board meeting or next annual meeting?
The next annual meeting,
Thank you.
It'll be in the warning, right, Linda?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Welcoming Judd online.
So let's finish this motion. I need a motion to accept minus the annual wording. Everything else I think is okay.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Bill, thank you. All those in favor, either raise your hand or say aye. Everybody not want this to go through? I don't see anything, but thank you. Let's do the annual. And Judd, would you take a minute to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, sorry for the darkness here. I'm still getting set up. Judd Markowski, resident of Bridgeport and Workforce Investment Board member.
Thank you.
Liz is on now.
Liz is just coming in. I'm promoting her to panelist so she can speak.
Liz, you on yet?
Yep, now she is.
I'm here, thank you, sorry.
Could you just introduce yourself? I know you don't have a video today. I explained to everybody that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, I am Liz Fair, and I'm the board rep from MAUSD.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda. Monthly accounts payable.
Are we doing public comment or?
You see anybody? Did you have a comment on that?
Maybe our fine guests over here?
Oh, they get to talk later.
Okay.
Not yet.
We're gonna have to be careful
We
with
may
Kim
get to stay
today.
here for a while. You gotta get.
She was feeling spicy.
I'm happy to do the consent agenda though. So we're just gonna do a quick recap of our March 2026 expenditures. So in the general fund, we had $245,289.65 in accounts payable. Excuse me, our total payroll exposure was $252,290.38. In adult education, we had $1889.92 in accounts payable. There was no activity in the Makery. Our enterprise had $7,910.01 in accounts payable. Student activities was $1,031.90. No activity in the scholarship fund, and our BERT had $9,749.45 in accounts payable checks. And that rounds out the month of March.
You all set, you have that, Linda, in your hand? Thank you. Okay. Building and equipment reserve.
We do need a motion.
You can take a motion on item number 1. So moved. Thank you. Second? Second. Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Number 2, building and equipment reserve.
I will just say that the $9,749.45 that we spent was on build out of the electrical lab.
Is that done?
Nope. But it's close.
Okay. Who's doing the work?
Dennis Newton is our electrician, and Construction Technologies building out all the other stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
In-house? Yay. Okay. We need a motion? So moved.
I like your game plan tonight, Laura.
Second.
It's beautiful outside.
You remember it briefly. All those in favor of the consent agenda number 2, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. General fund, number 3.
I think he kind of did
He
them
went through
all.
all of
You're good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Motion? Stick your hand up for a moment. So moved. Thank you. Second?
So second.
Thank you. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Hello. Opposed? Seeing none? Revolving account, I think we're set with that also. Motion?
Second. Yeah.
Just raise your hand.
We can't do this all like in under one motion.
Well, if we need an explanation,
I see.
but I kind of want to
Just
stop.
checking.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Payroll, line of credit. We did go through all of those. Linda, is that acceptable, one motion for all of those, or do you want to see?
Yeah, normally it's just one motion for the entire consent
Correct.
agenda.
All right. So I'm gonna ask for 5, 6, and 7, seeing nobody has any questions. Motion for those. So moved. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Did we talk about the line of credit?
There was no activity. We
Okay,
paid down our line
thank
of
you.
credit last December, but we'll talk about it in the 2.3 discussion as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Anyway, all those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, they all carry. Yay, thank you. Turning the page. On the agenda, we have personnel items. And we have 2 people that are sitting behind me. I believe you discussed their resumes, am I correct?
Yes.
Both? Thank you.
Both
I haven't looked at
resumes,
it,
yes.
sorry. Anyway, Bill, you wanna give us a little?
Yeah, so I grew up in the area from School of Regents. I worked for a local company out of Bristol, Smith & McLean, which is where I did my apprenticeship program for 4 years. After that, I worked on my own for the last 5 years, mainly doing residential and a little bit of commercial electrical. When I was younger, out of high school, I worked as a substitute teacher as well. And when I was in college, that was kind of where I was going, but then life happens, so we did different things, and I'm happy to be here now.
Any questions? Our new hire. Seeing none, thank you. very much. And you do not have to stay for the whole meeting.
What's
that? I said you do not have to stay for the whole meeting, but.
I will say that we have got final approval for the electrical program finally from the AOE. So we had one last round of a walkthrough and we got the okay, so it's a go. And that's why we are here tonight with Will and signed contract, so.
What do they do when they do that walkthrough? Are they looking at the facility? Do they meet actually the instructor? Do they do the whole?
No, nothing about the instructor.
Ah,
It's all
interesting.
about the facility and making sure that there's enough space for what they require.
All right.
And does Will have to get accreditation through the AOE now?
So Will-
that whole
Will
deal-
has his journeyman's license
Yeah.
now, and he will need to go through the CTEP program that many of our people have gone through, and he is fully aware of that and fully on board to do it. He's, I think, actually tomorrow meeting with the director of the CTEP program,
Yeah,
or,
tomorrow morning.
yeah. And so, yeah, we're very excited to have him here and starting up this new program.
Awesome. And how long is that program gonna be for you? The
4 years.
It's a 4-year thing. Wow.
Yeah.
Right now, we're still
Wow.
working on seeing how we can whittle that down.
Okay. That's a commitment.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Thank you.
And while we're on to our new hires, if I can just introduce Chris Mendenhall, which is who has been working in our auto program all year as a TA and doing really well working with Chuck over there. He kind of expressed interest early on in the year that he would like to be a teacher here. And so here we are to talk about Chris doing game art and animation. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone's been super supportive of these requests and my hopes and dreams and all of that. But since, 2004, I've been working in a variety of capacities with teenagers, from mostly early on crisis intervention, behavior management, at-risk youth, helping them, working a lot with clinicians, but a lot of one-on-one work with these individuals. And then transitioning away from that, I went to Champlain College and learned all about game art and animation and loved it and decided I wanted to stay in Vermont. And I also didn't want to really do that. So just started working at Champlain College at that time, and then also working at a couple other places where I could continue working with students as an educator. And now I am here, very excited to be here and moving on to helping develop the program here.
So at this point, we have, I believe, 12 applications for this new program, so that's pretty good right away, and we're still only in April. And we actually have more applications that came in the last 2 days that we haven't even looked at yet. So we're super excited. At this point, Chris will be starting with one program. It will be a morning program, and then he's gonna stay with Chuck as a TA in the afternoon in auto, because that relationship has already been developed and they're working like a well-oiled, I don't know, what do you, car over there.
Car means our trade. I'm just joking.
Any questions?
Where is he going to be doing the morning program?
We're going to, current plan could change. We're going to set him up.
Which bus?
Yeah. We're gonna set him up in the room where Julian used to teach the English class. So right next to Mike Adam's old room, the next room over. This one right there.
Cool.
Anything else?
Yes, Kim, can you hear me?
Sure, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
The camera's a little farther away, but Will, did you and I overlap on some jobs?
Yeah, we've
in
worked
those
together
days?
before.
Yeah, okay, great. Nice to meet you.
Small world.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you both for coming, and yes, you're
Thank
welcome
you.
to go enjoy the evening.
I'm going to go enjoy the sunny day.
Thank
Good luck, everyone.
you.
Take care.
Oh
Thank you very
man,
much.
trust me for help again.
So exciting. You also have a letter, I would say, of resignation from Addison Hill.
Yes, Addison is our fantastic TA in mechanical science. As often and actually generally happens with TAs that are really good, these positions are only 6.5 hours a day for only 187 days a year. So it's pretty hard to maintain. I mean, that's not really a living wage job for someone to do full-time. So she sought out and got an excellent new job that's full-time with benefits and all the things. She's newlywed, she's young, she's looking for that next step in life. So while we are so sad to lose Addison, we are very happy for her and her next step. So you never know, maybe someday we can hire her back as a teacher.
Linda, do we need separate motions on each of those? Thank you. First one, hire William Bond Jr. Motion?
Vote, Judd.
Thank you. Second? Bill? All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Second motion will need to hire Chris Mendenhall.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Bill. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Thank you. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Resignation of Addison Hill. Motion, please.
So moved. Sorry, she's going.
I know, she's great.
She is great.
She was here at open house if you didn't get a chance to meet her. Anyway, second? Bill?
Second.
Sure.
Bill? Either one. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Say aye.
I have a quick question, and I know I'm out of line, but does Chris have to go through the class as well?
He's looking at an alternative method, the same one that Stephanie Wilbur just finished. If you remember, we talked about that at the last board meeting, so that's called a transcript review. Because he already has his bachelor's degree, he can do that.
Cool.
In this list of things in the list.
Yeah.
Is that a peer review process too? Is that how that works?
It's slightly different. There is also a peer review and there's transcript review.
I see.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Any other questions for those?
I want to shut it off.
I'm trying.
Okay, yeah.
I was trying to do it discreetly. It's not working. You're doing well.
Sounds like it's having a problem.
It's off.
I'm trying to figure out what the weather's doing.
Where's our operations director?
Who's on the trailer?
So we need to hand the resumes back?
I think
Yes, we do.
Addison.
Thank you. That was my next comment.
It will turn off in a minute if it might just take a minute.
Because the lights are off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just warm it up. Thank you. Thank you very much. So a whole list of action items, which will mean someone has to respond. Just warning you now. So the ended report for financial conditions and activities.
That's me again. So this is a quarterly policy we look at the close of each quarter. So it's sort of a year-to-date snapshot through the end of March. It's closely connected to the 2.4 policy, which is more of a global understanding of our strategies and constraints and that sort of thing. And this policy is more of a technical analysis of the past quarter. And basically it just is a report out that the district's financial operations are in a stable position, that we're responding timely, that we're sending out tax payments and payroll and those sorts of things in a timely fashion, and that our budget is still in line with our board established priorities for this fiscal year. And so there's a series of 9 different questions that get into really technical analysis of our finances, and I'll give a quick summary. The first part talks about we've spent just over $4 million of our $5.7 million board approved budget, and when we factor in our encumbrances to carry us out through the rest of the year, the majority of those are payroll and benefits related. We have about $176,000 remaining unexpended to get us through the rest of the fiscal year. The rest of it talks about our line of credit payments. As mentioned just a few minutes ago, we paid down our line of credit back in December. we incurred interest on that of about $14,000, which we repaid to the bank just a few days ago. So that's a pretty standard process this time of year. We're making our tax payments to the IRS, to the Department of Taxes, to the any agency on time, and that happens bi-weekly with payroll. And then lastly, we're not delinquent on any collections of receivables. We're in good standing with respect to our real estate property and our reserve fund spending limits. So that is sort of a snapshot of the different areas that are discussed in this policy.
Questions? Anyone? Seeing none, I need a motion to accept that. 2.3 financial conditions and activities. So moved. 1 second, please.
Sure.
Bill, thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Ends report. 2.8, communication support of the board.
That's mine, and this is the ends report that states that I am in compliance with things required to make sure that you have the communication you need to do your job, and that I am supportive of you when you need things from me in order to do your job. So there are 10 areas which I need to report compliance with. Timely and accurate, the monitoring reports, reporting if we have any non-compliance, so being upfront about that, making unbiased decisions, communicating any significant information about the district, advising on board if you're out of compliance, organizing, having clarity and organization of the information I present you, making sure that I have effective communication mechanisms, that I communicate to the whole board, and that we do the consent agenda and required approvals, and that we do the enrollment trends and planning once a year.
I will make a motion to accept that lovely report.
Thank you.
I'll second
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Thank you.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. State rules.
I'm presenting this one, which dovetails into the next one. Hello, everybody. This is a rule that requires confirmation that we at the Hannaford Career Center periodically evaluate the quality of each course of study offered by the center. Every other year, the federal Perkins 5 requirement is such that we conduct a CLNA, a Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment. This is a CLNA here, and that is about as thorough a review of our course of study as could be, and I will detail that in the next presentation. In opposing years, I will use other means to ensure that we are reviewing our course of study. And to the bottom of this memo, just note the links to our new beautiful program of studies, which is linked online as well as in hard copy, and the scope and sequence or curriculum documents for each program appear on the program pages on the website. 2 other ways to review curriculum at the center. Please.
Should I share this with the folks online?
You may, yeah. So this is the more thorough portion of the presentation, the CLNA report, and it's somewhat lengthy, and you can peruse it
Did you vote
more.
on the rules?
I'm sorry.
Did you vote on the rule? Did I miss
We
it?
did it.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah, we need to vote on number 3 first. It's next.
She's not,
But you have to also vote on the CLNA, which is the next thing.
right. So
Okay.
I wasn't sure what the transition was. So, need a motion to accept number 3, state board rules in the Perkins. Motion? So moved. Thank you. Second? Yeah. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye. Aye. Thank you. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. Number 4, which is, you may continue.
So this is a presentation outlining our work over the course of the year to this point on our comprehensive local needs assessment. Next slide, please. So there is a federal requirement and attendant grant called CLNA, or Comprehensive Local Needs Assessment, that goes under the Perkins 5 requirement that ensures CTE access across the United States. And in order to achieve the requirements of that grant, it's required that all grant recipients conduct the CLNA every other year. And it has the required components that you see on the screen. The assessment involves multiple angles such as data gathering, surveying, faculty and staff internal work to assess program quality with multiple stakeholders. When in doubt, give it a little fist bump.
I don't know, I'm sorry, folks. I'm gonna leave it on because it sounded better when it was on, actually.
Okay. I know we've had issues with that machine leaking down the wall too, so.
Really?
Yeah, last year. It was fixed for that reason, so
Sounds like it's
keeping an eye on it.
something weird, liquid.
Purpling.
I'm waiting for the
Thanks for
coffee.
trying.
Sounds like it's making coffee.
Okay.
Would you like me to proceed?
Go for it.
Last thing I'll note on this slide is on the right side, this definition of what special populations are under the Perkins Act, because I will refer to special populations at some points throughout this presentation. Next slide, David. The first element in the Perkins study is on a review of our performance and Perkins accountability. So every year, the Agency of Education gives us a report on how we did in meeting our accountability metrics, which are negotiated between Nicole and Wendy and the Agency of Education. You can see the elements in the accountability are our 4-year graduation rate, our proficiency in English language arts, our proficiency in mathematics, our post-program placement, or where our students go on to, non-traditional concentrators, which in this scenario mostly means having males in traditionally female-dominated fields and vice versa. Tier 2 credentials, how many students in programs achieve those post-secondary credentials, college credits attained, and percentage of students accessing work-based learning. So we achieved all of our negotiated targets for the last school year. The ones highlighted in yellow, as it indicates, are individual spots where in a given program they did not quite meet the metric, but as a whole, we met our negotiated performance targets. A question?
I have a question about, so the AOE has shared these results with you guys?
Correct.
And I'm sure, I don't know if everyone's aware of how some of the reporting has been incorrect with the, some school districts, Addison Northwest School District got incorrect data. So I just was wondering if you experienced that.
So our
Speak to that.
yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Our data comes from a different source than all of that accountability data that you're referring to. We have found errors in our data previously and have successfully negotiated with I think his name is Marcus and Ruth to fix them. So in the cases where we think something's off, we have successfully been able to solve that.
Okay.
Can I for sure 100% say this is
Accurate data?
probably not, but
Okay.
the data aligns with our understanding. So there was nothing this year that seemed really off.
Okay.
You can go on, Dan.
Or do you have a question?
Maybe two. Mine's pretty quick, and this is just for tech programs, correct?
Yes, the CLNA review as a whole looks at how our pre-tech programs are doing, but the performance data is just on full technical programs indeed.
What do they use to determine ELA and math proficiency?
that is our work keys scores. So the sole metric of our ELA and math proficiency is based on our work keys scores.
And work keys, just to elaborate a little bit, is a little tricky for us because we don't have longitudinal data. Our kids change each year. So while it may be valuable to look from fall to spring, it's questionable if year-over-year data is really that meaningful when it's different kids. Regardless, that's our measure, and this is how we've done.
And we take it as seriously as is warranted. We're not going to neglect the curriculum that we are supposed to teach in our technical programs, but we look at the data, we review it. This year we have had a pilot program in embedding more literacy and math into what are called bell ringers or starter activities in the lessons to see if it nudges the needle on our work keys scores. So that is always very interesting. We will be doing the spring testing session right after spring break, and then when we gather that data, we're going to be able to have some concrete information back as to whether doing some more targeted math and literacy instruction in fact improved our scores or not.
How are we doing versus other CTE programs in the state?
On those two metrics in particular, or
Just in general?
in general? There is a spreadsheet that was shared internally where it is visible to the public, and I can certainly show that to you so we can see ourselves compared to every other center. I don't know that I could quote that off the top of my head very easily, but there are centers that are not meeting some metrics and are on improvement plans. We are not on any improvement plan. We would certainly like to be higher than some of those center negotiated targets. You know, we hope for 100%, not 50%, but the fact that we are meeting and in some areas exceeding is good news.
Great, thank you.
I have one more question. So, this may be a dumb question. Is the work keys some kind of standardized testing that all CTEs use, or is it an internal?
It is a standardized test that all students in Vermont who attend a CTE center who are in a technical program must take.
And when are those tests given?
October and April.
And are they all
Yes,
online?
they're on the computer.
So here's another question related to, there was just testing conducted in Addison Northwest, and they had a lot of computer issues that interfered with the testing that the students were doing, and I was just wondering if you experienced any.
It can happen. The testing is coordinated primarily by Cynthia, our special needs coordinator, Tracy, our school counselor, and me, and it is very well organized. The system that we have where students have time in class the day before to check their password, get logged in, try to troubleshoot all of the bugs. Every student has a piece of paper with their login. We make sure Dan checks the internet strength the day of, and Cynthia is the point person here to troubleshoot tech, and then we have a lot of point person on North Campus, so we do preemptively everything we can to try to obviate those problems. They do come up sometimes. I think the harder difficulty is kids have to read online and answer the question, and that's very difficult on a screen, and they have to perform mathematical calculations using a calculator that's online rather than in their hand, and that can be difficult for some kids too.
Okay, thanks. Technology.
Next slide, David.
Sorry.
So the next metric that we need to examine is labor market information, and Perkins 5 requires that CTE that is delivered under the grant needs to be in line with labor market. So even if we, as a school, were very interested in beekeeping, we could not just stand up a beekeeping program if it were not high wage, high need, high skill, and in demand in Addison County. So this portion of The review asks all of our programs to research the labor market information, how many job openings there are, what is the starting pay, what is the growth potential, and make sure that we are offering programs that can fit the needs of the state and the county. And you can see some of the careers up there that are in particular need of workers lately. The next slide. My gosh, something important must be coming because it quieted down. The next slide is a bit of a word cloud of some of the most in-demand careers right now. On your own, if you hover over those circles, you'll be able to find more information such as wage, starting wage and job openings. But it's important to make sure that all of our programs are aligned with LMI, and the results of that analysis confirmed that they are. That is also part of the reason that we have added electrical technology for the next year, because that was one of the highest need areas and one that we did not address at all. The next two sections are the ones that relate primarily to our review of our programs, and size, scope, and quality is a review of whether our technical programs have the correct size, meaning meet the minimum enrollment requirements of 8 students, offer strong skill building opportunities so that they encompass everything that students need to learn, and the quality speaks to whether they have real-world industry standards such as recognized IRCs and college credits to support the curriculum so that we can see what the quality is. Next. So this slide reviews some of the positive learnings from our size, scope, and quality review. I am very pleased to report that 100% of our curriculum is aligned with the Vermont proficiencies and with the requirements from the agency for offering embedded college credits and IRCs. So we've come a long way in the last, say, a year with making sure that every single program is meeting those metrics. This review also noted that we have very robust work-based learning. That is another area where the needle has really jumped within the last year, and that we have strong industry partnerships so that students are building those connections while they're here and carrying them into their working lives. Next slide. Some opportunities for growth that this portion revealed is enrollment optimization. Some of our programs have definite capacity to enroll more students, and so this has prompted us to review the curriculum and the trajectory of those programs while simultaneously bolstering our recruitment efforts to make sure that we have people in as many seats as we can offer. The review also suggested that we would do well to have some upgrades in particular labs where that is warranted. Returning to those questions of academic performance, where we saw that highlighted in yellow for ELA and math, the assessment suggests that some further targeted instruction in math and literacy would improve academic performance across programs in general and some programs and populations in particular. And another interesting note that came out of this was, particularly from survey response, that access to the center is sometimes prohibitive, and that perhaps a exploration of whether a full day center model would be warranted for allowing more students to access their education here, those students who, for example, due to transportation issues, cannot attend because of all of the busing. The next section is probably the lengthiest, the program of study analysis. This one required teachers to conduct over 87 data points of analysis of their programs in these 12 general areas to make sure that the program of study that they offer is robust and meeting metrics. And on the next slide is a very broad overview of the results of that. But essentially, within these 12 areas, teachers had to analyze and indicate whether they met, partially met, or did not meet, and provide narrative to support their assessment. And to represent this sort of visually, you can see that across the board, our programs are meeting those 12 areas, and those in yellow indicate partially met areas in our program of studies. Some areas of strength that were revealed from an analysis of that work in the program of studies is that we have very engaging instruction and standards-aligned curriculum that allows students to really be working in a real-world capacity that aligns with what is needed in industry, that our certifications and our embedded college credits are very robust and aligned with what is required in industry. Equity and access, which is an area of CLNA all on its own, came out strongly in the program of studies analysis as well, that our classes are designed by teachers to ensure that there are no barriers for any particular students or populations to the education, and that work-based learning and CTSOs, those student groups such as Skills USA and FFA, are allowing students further ways to extend their learning. Next. Some areas for improvement that came out of the program of studies analysis is that point one was that parents in their survey reported that they sometimes find our progress report format to be difficult to follow and communication confusion over grades. We are currently conducting a review of PowerSchool as an alternative student management system to see if that might answer some of our problems with parental communication as well as internal and external data reporting. Surveys also indicated that because students personalized learning plans, or PLPs, that really guide where they are intending to go after high school are housed in the sending schools and not shared with the tech school, there can sometimes be a disconnect in providing programming that aligns with the PLPs. Though advisory boards were noted as being a very strong component of programs, some teachers noted difficulty in gaining and maintaining attendance at advisory board meetings, and some teachers and staff noted some facilities or materials in need of upgrading, and suggested that a formalized plan for replacing equipment would be warranted. The next couple of slides are just a broad overview of the surveys that fed multiple areas of the CLNA. The entire faculty and staff was surveyed, and we are so pleased to note that 100% of the staff say they enjoy working here. In the faculty and staff one, they also noted that they, as a whole, had received the equipment and the resources that they need in order to do their jobs well. Students were surveyed in two different cohorts. The current students refers to the students who are attending here now. Excuse me. And 100% of our students say they feel respected and recognized at CAC, which speaks to the excellent success of our instructors. Several quotes up there about our strong teacher-student relationships. And our students say what a safe and welcoming community it is for them to be in our halls. Last slide here on current students addresses some interesting identification of barriers to access. Students were required to report whether they were ever discouraged from attending the Career Center, and largely not, although we should note that 10% of them said for one reason or another, from a guidance counselor, a parent, or a teacher, They were suggested that maybe their time would be better spent at their sending school than here, and that gives us pause to understand why or where that messaging may come from. The other student cohort was, the survey was directed at students in our 3 major sending schools as well as Otter Valley, asking them if they did not come here, why they did not come here. And you can see the top 3 reasons for students who did not enroll is scheduling conflicts, somebody being counseled they should not come here, and that they thought that a CTE course would not look good if they were a college-bound student. We asked them, or the surveys, we did not design the survey questions, these survey questions are sort of set, did reveal some suggestions that they had about making it more feasible for them to attend the Career Center. Alumni were surveyed as well, another couple of 100% in terms of how well our alumni feel they had a return on their time at the Hannaford Career Center. And parents and guardians were surveyed as well, and we can see how the majority of parents feel that their students are better off for having come to the Hannaford Career Center in terms of the learning opportunities and the preparation for post-high school. Finally, community members were surveyed. This went to regional employers, it went to multiple constituencies throughout Addison County, and the greater community also agrees that time spent at PAC is beneficial for students acquiring the technical skills they need to transition from high school to the real world. Community members also noted some ways in which overcoming access barriers should be a primary focus area, and particularly overcoming scheduling barriers to access was one of them. Equity and access, as I mentioned, was a standalone area for analysis in the CLNA. A couple things that came out of that analysis were underrepresented populations. So noted that we have underrepresented females still in auto, construction, and diesel, and underrepresentation of males in medical professions, and underrepresentation of English language learners throughout our center. It should be noted that the population who attends the Hannaford Career Center is largely reflective of the population in Addison County, and so some of the lack of racial diversity is reflecting of the greater community. It should be noted, though, that special populations, particularly students who are identifying with a disability, are in fact excelling in some of the areas at a higher rate than general population, such as in college credit attainment, which is excellent news. And in our performance data, you probably noticed looking back that yellow was highlighted in academic performance, particularly among a quite high percentage of the population of students who are in special education. So the sort of end point of the CLNA is to develop a 2-year action plan with about 3 priorities to focus on during this next cycle, and the analysis of the data revealed the following 3 priorities are the most important for us. Addressing disparities in academic performance where we are lacking in certain programs and among certain populations. Addressing under-enrollment in some of our programs where we have more space to offer, and trying to address access barriers that may be contributing to the under-enrollment, and doing more to equip our faculty with specialized professional development and support for supporting our students who are on IEPs and 504s, giving them more tools to meet the needs of our special learners. Whew! The end. Excellent work. Any other general questions about the CLNA?
So, great report. Nice way to get a look at everything. Do the sending schools get a look at that? So they can see where they're falling down?
It's a good question. They do not see the result of the CLNA. That goes to the Agency of Education. This report goes to you and to our staff so they can have reflected back to them their contributions to it. It would be interesting to think about how to convey this information, not in this report style, to the sending schools. Certainly, the administrators of the sending schools were asked, can we administer the survey? We need to administer the survey, and that was their only point of contact, and they haven't had the results of the survey. So I think you're right, we need to figure out a way to do that.
I would love for us to be invited to a board meeting of each of our sending schools. That's what I would love.
Well, I give a report every month, and I would love to link this report and call out the surveys in my report next month, so I would love to do that. I was gonna ask that exact question.
Liz has her hand raised.
Liz?
Sorry.
Yeah, I have another question.
Liz, go ahead.
I was just going to say the same thing. I will share this with our board, and actually, I really like the way this report is done, and it reminds me of our ENS monitoring report, but it would be nice if there was a version of this for that fit our sending schools, because the way that it went through all the stakeholders so thoroughly and had all of the great feedback. And it's really exciting that you're meeting all of the goals that were set up with the state. And so thank you so much for all the work everyone's doing, and I will be sure to share it.
Thank you, Liz. You have another question?
I do. I have a question about the surveys, and I'm just wondering, like, you know how surveys go. You know, you send out a survey, and 5% of the people answer the survey. So I'm just wondering the data that you collected in all these surveys of students and faculty and community and alum, like, what were the responses really like? Are we talking like 20 people? Are we talking hundreds of people?
The lowest response was from the alumni or the community survey. Let's see. So the parent guardian one, we had 30 responses. That wasn't enormous. The high school sending school students was 67.
Okay.
The alumni were 7 only. The community members were 17. The faculty and staff were 22. That's everybody. And our current students, not surprisingly, is the highest, 191.
Okay.
So the response numbers vary.
Okay.
And I do think in all cases, the numbers went up from 2 years ago when we did these.
Yeah.
So we're moving in the right
That is
direction.
good.
But
I mean, when you hear those numbers, you
Yeah.
go, oh, wait,
Right.
you know, like.
no, it's a good question.
Yeah.
But also great, like, very informative, like, yeah. Thank you. That's the report. Took a long time, I'm sure.
Great presentation. I really liked the succinctness with which you delivered it. That was very helpful. But it was a lot of information. One thing that wasn't in there, because this is an overview report, and this is something that I think we should hear on an annual basis. When we talk about equity, we often hear, well, our sending schools don't have a lot of diversity. How do we compare? Because I think I've only ever seen once how many students of color, or I've never seen one that compares economic backgrounds, things of that nature. So yes, there's not a lot of diversity in Vermont as a whole, but I know that there are some pockets of diversity in our school districts, and are those students getting here? And are they being recruited? So that's question number one. Question number two is, and this isn't directed necessarily at you, I am not aware of, but maybe I'm missing someone, I'm not aware of any diversity on our staff. So.
I think the special populations, as Perkins defines it, looks at diversity in ways beyond racial or ethnic diversity. It focuses a lot on gender and non-traditional gender. It also focuses a lot on socioeconomic diversity, disability, which is a big one for us as well. Some smaller categories such as parents in the military, homeless, which we need to try to collect data on. That's hard to collect data on. What other ones am I forgetting? Those are the primary areas. And so in the subsection of the analysis that is on equity and access, one of the questions asks you to analyze the makeup of the county in which your CTE center sits and whether your student body reflects the greater population. And it noted, the data from that revealed the profile of Addison County, which has some pockets of higher socioeconomic wealth and some pockets of lower socioeconomic means. And it noted that from what data was available, we have a number of students that are economically disadvantaged by whatever means we can determine that, primarily free or reduced lunch, and that's voluntarily revealed, so that's a little bit difficult. But I think what that report suggested primarily was our greatest diversity, and I'll try to stop the air quotes that wanted to come up, is in socioeconomic diversity and in our special populations, students with disabilities. Staff-wise, I think our staff in their program assessment and in their staff survey noted that diversity among the staff is particularly in terms of background and the way that they arrived here and their sort of professional journey. And we try to lean on that in terms of offering diversity where we maybe lack, at least on the surface, racial diversity. Yeah.
Any other questions? So we need a motion to accept that, and again, kudos to all the work. Motion? So moved. Thank you. Second? Will? Thank you. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye, please.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, thank you for your work. Motion carries.
Just make a note that Stephanie Wilbur has joined.
Thank you. Next, the Makery.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I think the last time I was in this room was when I was introduced to you all as the Adult Education Coordinator back in September. It's good to be back. I'm excited to be here to talk about the Makery. Yeah, 1 second. I had the opportunity, after many conversations with Nicole, to step into the role as the MOD, or the Manager on Duty for the Makery, which has been, I started doing that in January. Just to note, it's being paid out of the Makery budget. And it's been a really great opportunity because I really got to understand what the Makery is, get to know the people who are there, start collecting some data. I don't have data like Jillian has, but I do have some. And then an idea of how we could move forward with the Makery based on the challenges that we are facing right now. So, next slide.
Give me one moment.
Okay. What is the Makery? Steve, you know what the Makery is. I've seen you there. That's where you make stuff. And so, community makerspace that operates here. It's open lab access. There are mentors in the wood shop and the sewing lab. Thursday evenings, 5 to 8, and we follow the school calendar. Okay, very simple. And so what have I learned? Since January 28th up until last week, I've been collecting data. We have 88 people who have registered for the Makery. And of those 88, we have 35 that are active participants. They're a repeat. So anybody that's come once, I'm not including in that, that 35 active. And that's a 40% conversion rate, which is not bad, but I don't know what to compare it to. I'd love to see it much higher than that. We average 15 participants per night. That's pretty consistent across the board. I do want to know we have 7 volunteer mentors, we have 2 in the wood shop, and we have 5 in the sewing lab. And depending on who is showing up for the mentors, that is included in the 15 participants. So, and we are having participants come in from over 20 towns in the area, predominantly Middlebury, of course, but there's more than half of them are coming from outside, and we do have one a person who just started with us a couple weeks ago. She's coming all the way from Huntington to join us at the Makery. So who are these people? We call them core makers, skill builders, explorers, mentors. Steve, you've been in there, you've seen what it's like. Dan Rosignol has also been in and used the Makery. They come in for a lot of different reasons, and I think that is the most exciting part of being there and going into these labs, is seeing what these people are doing and the projects they're working on, and getting to know them. Next slide, please. So, why am I here? The current challenge is that the Makery is not a legal entity. All right, there's no EIN, there's no formal structure in place. They collect membership fees. Those membership fees are held in an account by the center. And when we consulted, or Nicole consulted legal counsel, they had concerns around this current structure. You want to say anything about that, or are we good?
Yeah, I mean, it was strong advice that what we're doing is putting the district at risk.
Yeah. Okay. So, however, I do think there is a really great opportunity here, and especially after listening to Jillian's presentation around labor market demands and what the CT, what the Career Center here is for. And I do see it as a very low barrier entry into the Career Center. I mean, we have a wide variety of different people who are taking advantage of this. Some of them are, fellow board members, but we also have older people who may have children or grandchildren who are participating in a program like this. We do have younger people coming in, and they have children that may be in the school system. So it might be a great opportunity then for them to see what the center is all about, engage in the different spaces that we have, and help promote what it is that we're doing. And if thinking about building a relationship with these people and getting a pipeline into adult education is really what my goal is as well, aligning the makerspace labs that we have with adult education programs. So the 2 possible paths, primarily directed to us by legal counsel, is tell the Makery, whoever they are, that they have to be a 501c3 and 4 of a 501c3. So Faith Dea has been a predominant member of the Makery for many, many years and really has kind of held the whole thing together. Nicole and I have had conversations with her around this, and she has made it very clear, I don't want to form a 501c3. It's very complicated, it takes a lot of work, and she doesn't have it within her to do it. And she is open to and comfortable with the plan that we have presented. If you choose to accept it, option B is to move the Makery into formally the structure of the adult education program. Yes. So why? Clear financial structure, institutional oversight. We had some of that, but this will really pull in the Makery into the adult education programs. Again, trying to align what we're doing in the Makery with adult education programming, reducing that legal risk, and possibly creating a more sustainable model than what exists right now. Next slide. So, what does this look like? Okay, as it's integrated into adult education programming, we have adult education programs. They run for a specified amount of time. The Makery would fall into that category as well. Independent sewing lab, independent woodworking lab, 8-week sessions, 2 in the fall, 1 in the winter, 1 in the spring. Participants would register for a complete session. These would be scheduled, supervised lab access. Currently, there's woodworking and sewing. I think welding would be a great way to add that program. Through Adult Ed, we've had several introduction to welding classes. They've been full, and the one, when surveying them about what it is that they would like, is more access just to practice. You know, welding is one of those skills where you can learn how to do a certain task, but then you're going to need to practice it over and over and over again. So opening up and creating perhaps a welding lab in the same way that we have a workshop lab and a sewing lab for the Makery might be a really great way to lead toward more adult ed programming. Next slide. Staffing model would be considered would be the same that we do now. Every single adult education program we have is led by an instructor who is an employee of the center, and we would provide them with a stipend, trying to keep it affordable and manageable so that we can break even on this, and also be more community focused and make it affordable for participants. And of course, we would still rely on volunteer mentors to help support those supervisors, lab supervisors. Financial model. Again, small groups, enrollment-based model. Participants bring their own materials for the most case. Modest stipend for the lab supervision. And this is really, again, and I want to emphasize this, designed to break even or above break even. If a class does not, if there are not enough people to enroll in a particular session to make it break even, then that session does not happen. Just like an adult education class. For example, we had a small engine repair class offered for the winter. We only had a few participants. We couldn't run that class for the winter. However, demand in the spring was so large, we ended up having 2 small engine repair classes. One just finished, and we have another one coming up in May. So it would the Makery labs would operate under that same model. This is just an example of what that might look like. Again, designed to operate at or near break even, just to make it affordable for the community members. 8 participants, tuition $80 per session, that's kind of $10 per night. Currently, the makers pay $7.50 per night. Total revenue $640. Provide a stipend of $400, which when you think about it's 5 to 8, it's 3 hours, and if it's 8 weeks, that's 24 hours. That's really not a whole lot to be paying them, but Mark Wilch is one of our mentors right now. He loves what he's doing, and this would be sufficient for him, you know. So again, the financial model will need to be worked out in fine detail, but again, looking at or near break even. Next slide. So what would the transition plan look like? Because we're currently operating under this current structure. The lab is closing on June 11th, the last day of school. That will be the last Thursday, and it will not resume through the summer. So we can then open it up in September under this new structure and this new plan, and that will really ensure some continuity with the current members. And there'll be lots of communication with them to ease them into this new model. But the idea is to keep it almost imperceptible to them. They want to use the space, they want to enjoy the space, and they want to work on their projects, and I want to give them opportunities to do that. So, what am I asking for? What are we asking for? Is the approval to transition the Makery into an adult education program beginning in fall of 2026. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. We have, is there another slide? Oh. There was the example motion on the slide. So an example, do you need an example motion?
Let's see if there's any
questions. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do questions first. Let's see if there is any. Thank you for the report, very comprehensive.
I was wondering if I can make a public comment about it.
Or
do you want me to wait till after?
No, you can wait till the end, like you said. Thank you. Steve, go ahead.
As you've said, I've been to the sewing lab any number of times. I've never been there when there's 8 people there. Is 8 a floor or a ceiling, or you can't have, you don't have 8 and therefore you don't run the program?
Yeah, it would be like that. Or if the break-even model was 5, then we could have 5 participants. If it fell below 5, we wouldn't have that. And also just thinking about when you, there aren't, I think there are 6 sewing machines, maybe 8 sewing machines in that lab. Not that everybody's using them. And certainly in the wood shop, there's 1 tool, there's 1 planer, there's 1 bandsaw, there's 1 circular table saw. So keeping it limited to, we've already had people that have to wait to be able to use this equipment. So
right, I'm trying to get a handle on the 8, because as you said, there's not 8 sewing machines in there, and there's not. You can do other things,
sure,
and often do, but and I can't speak to the wood shop. I've never been there. Dan would be the one to speak to that. But 8 seems like a lot, and not like that's a lot of people to overwhelm the instructors or anything like that. It just seems like the participation level that we're experiencing right now doesn't seem to be 8.
Correct.
Okay.
Like if we're averaging 15,
yeah,
and some of those are mentors, we're looking at what, 11 and 12.
Yeah.
So with that information, if we don't have enough people to run the shops, then they won't open in this model.
And so I guess my question is still, what is 8?
What is 8? What do you mean?
What is 8? Is that a floor? Is that a ceiling?
Oh,
is that,
I mean,
do they have to get 8 to run a session?
If we charge, if we like look at that and try to keep it at the cost at a minimum, which is, I mean, if we're looking at 8 participants, it's $80. That's $10 per session. It's what, $2.50 more per session than what they're paying now. I don't know if the community, how responsive the community will be to this, and if they'll be willing to pay that much for the use of the space.
But what you're saying is that it's 8 per program. So you have to have 8 in the sewing lab, 8 in the wood shop, 8 in the welding.
Yeah, according to this model, this example that I put up, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sensing like you're skeptical that this will work and that you would have programs running fully.
Yes.
And I agree with you. I agree with you.
Because I just, anytime that I've been there, I think one time we had 8 people.
Yeah.
And that was making masks for the pandemic.
Right.
So
yeah,
if you're saying 8 and it doesn't run if we don't have 8, almost seems like a recipe for failure.
Yeah.
So,
however, is the current situation any more sustainable?
Meaning they don't have enough money, or they don't have enough what?
So
There's no money.
So I need to jump in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have, go ahead, Nicole. First.
Okay.
So the task put in front of Roger was to figure out a way to run the Makery that is not spending K-12 money, because that is not appropriate. Many of these board members were here when we tried this before, and we went through a long process by which we came up with an MOU that the Makery was responsible for. However, the Makery did not follow that MOU. So right now there is not enough revenue coming in from the Makery to pay the manager on duty who has to be there for safety and oversight. So Roger has been tasked with figuring out a way to maintain the Makery while breaking even. We're not trying to make any money, we just need to break even. But the board there's too much risk to the board, to the district, to have no oversight in that Makery. I think the board was here when we walked into the lab, the manufacturing lab, and there were people there that we didn't even know were there. And our legal counsel have told us that our current structure, where we just kind of let them be a community group but keep their money, is not legal, because they don't have it. Because we're taking money from an outside group that has no formal board or minutes or structure or leadership. So we have to make a change, and we have to be able to break even unless this board wants to spend K-12 money on the Makery. in which case I would need that officially noted somewhere, because that's something I have to report. So that's the position that Roger is in, and after doing this learning for a number of months now, this is what we come up with.
Christina?
Yeah, I wonder, I have a couple things, but I wonder if we do this, that you can promote it in a way that says, you sign up for this time frame, you don't have to come to every session. You know what I mean? Like, I think that people might be willing to reserve a spot for 8 weeks if they could or couldn't go, you know?
Absolutely.
But with that said, I'm curious, do we know anything about any other Makerys at other CTEs in the state and how they are operating? I'm just curious about that, if they even exist. And I think it would be unfortunate too if this went away. This Makery's been here a very long time, and we would be losing an opportunity to, you know, really promote ourselves to the community. So I hope it does work out somehow. Yeah.
Bill?
So most of the Makerys that I've been to in the state don't have anything to do with the CTE. There's one in Rutland. There's also Generator, which is up in Burlington. And they're actually, the one in Rutland's affiliated with businesses. The one in Burlington is affiliated with colleges.
So there's no other CTEs that are opening up their wood labs or?
I'm not aware of any, no.
Okay.
I think that might be done through adult ed, but it's, I think if, you know, the program you're talking about, if you're looking at, you know, come in for 8 weeks, we're doing this, you could have a theme or something. There are some ways that you could bring people in and have them show up for 8 weeks, which would be helpful. Because then they'll talk to people if they, you know, if they only come in once or they only have one project they want to do and they're only going to be there for 2 weeks, they aren't going to do such a great job of promoting it. So I think the 8 week idea is very reasonable. 80 is very inexpensive. So.
I think too, just from a personal perspective, gives us a chance to bring the public in, see what the institution does, what it offers. Here's an opportunity to take your skill set and bring it to us. I have a friend of mine who does poster work. She's looking for an apprentice. You know, she's been doing it for 30 years, and she's looking. Here's an opportunity to say, hey, I will talk to her and say, you know, if that's the flavor of what you're looking for, come in, present it to you, and see, and financially figure that piece out. It shows the public that we're willing to use this facility, not just for students. And it's a community-based piece. We've done, through the years, we've done repair fairs, which still goes on with somebody else. You know, there's a lot of other things that the school represents. And then eventually, you know, I think my grandchild would like to go to the web class or whatever. It's an introduction to the programs that are here. That sometimes, as you know, you talk to people and they go, I didn't know they taught that. You know, and it's a different piece. The other thing he's going to offer them is some publicity. You know, that's part of the piece I think that's going on with them, is the inability to have that in a budget or a showcase like Adult Ed has, that people will look, gee, I'm looking for a class. I talked to a woman 2 days ago that works at Agway. She's looking for something. You know, what can I do? And I've got some good suggestions for a class. Or people like her that might want to come in and teach something. But I think it's just a different way to, you know, PR.
Two people.
Go ahead.
Hands raised.
I can't see who they are.
Judge.
So,
Judge and Christine.
Judge? I see.
Yeah, this is right off the top of my head, so it may be a half-baked idea, but maybe picking up on it a little later on. Thinking about a captive audience, I know that every spring and fall in high school they do a musical and then a senior play, and you have kind of a captive audience. When we make the costumes or alter the costumes for the show, we need lots of sewing machines, and there are lots of parents who show up. My wife is one of them and sort of leads the charge on that. And the sewing lab seems like, I never really thought about it. We always have to bring in a bunch of our sewing machines. And it's on Saturday mornings and whatever, but I wonder about restructuring that to be on a Thursday evening or whenever the Makery would be in session, And again, I don't know, I have not thought this through, but just as a way, and then the same thing, we also make all of the sets for the shows, and we always make them on the stage, and it's not where there are great tools, and it's not where it's a great space to build things, but it's a captive audience. It's a point where adults and students coalesce already on Saturday mornings. We could maybe switch it to Thursday evenings or some such thing. And again, you have a captive audience of interested participants who would show up. We already do it for 6 or so weeks ahead of each show, so kind of all the numbers line up. I don't think tonight is the right time to discuss all the nuances, but just if this conversation wants to go further, and I'd be happy to chat about it.
Thank you, Judd. Chrissy?
I was going to echo exactly what Judd said, which is what Nicole brought us back to, which is what the ask is tonight of us as a board, and just sitting here listening to it, and my head is spinning as somebody who has, my son goes to Red Cedar, right, and just thinking about that space for something for them or any part of that. I guess my question is if this goes to adult ed and it belongs in adult ed, is it only adults? Like, is there an age limit to that? That's my first question. And then the second question is, along with all of us, what is the need? What do people want to see in that space? As we think about sustainability of a program, is there enough, if the classes aren't full now, is there enough with our current offerings? And should we consider some of the other offerings that just a few of us have mentioned now? That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other questions?
So this 8-week lab model that you presented is just an idea at this point, right? You're still trying to sort out exactly how you would structure it, or is this how you want to structure it? That would be my first question.
Yeah, I looked at the calendar, the school calendar, and it basically fits with this kind of model. Thinking about adult education and how we schedule out our courses, yes, this is how I would start, is with those 4 different sessions, 2 fall sessions, a winter session, and a spring session, 8 weeks. I think some of them work out to 10 weeks, depending on how much time there is, vacation time, etc.
Can I ask a follow-up to that? Sure. You presented that there's 88 total registrants right now and 35 that come repeatedly. Do you think that would be a possibility to have some kind of drop-in capability for empty spots that you might have on a day-to-day basis if somebody signs up for a session but doesn't come every night? How do you see that working?
Off the top of my head, I would say no to the drop-ins, but it would be, that's something that I could discuss further.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly discuss it. I think my concern, and this is the consistent concern with the Makery, is this is not part of our mission, right? This is extra, and we don't have funds for extra. So the Makery had previously gotten a bunch of donations and things like that, so it's been kind of limping along. But we have been and cannot be spending K-12 money on this unless this board makes if that's the way we want to go, then we need to make an actual motion so that that's in the public knowledge and that's part of our budgeting process that we're asking for that. The Makery is, there is no leadership that's willing to take this torch forward. So the only way I can see that Roger and I have been able to find to maintain this community good is to staff it, but then we have to pay people to staff it.
Bill, excuse me, Bill.
The other thing that people aren't looking at is that somebody comes in and whoever's working that night basically has to say, okay, what have you been signed off on? What equipment do you know how to use? What have you been trained on? And that's, that could be part of the first 8 week.
Yep.
You're gonna train everybody on all this equipment. And people don't understand that there's the liability there. I mean, it's a little different with a sewing machine. And we want people trained on sewing machines so they don't break them. But in the wood lab, there are a lot of other things that could happen. And it really is a training session first, and there's liability with that as well.
Yep, absolutely. And I do connect, oh,
Go
I have to raise my
No,
hand.
go ahead. Your turn.
So Kim, you did mention like publicity, and I think one of those things I think is really helpful is establishing that sense of community. And I do think people are responsive to it. And I would send out emails like every week saying that the Makery's open, you know, and so, and even in the last few days, I know that it's not, the numbers aren't significant, but I've noticed it. There's a new husband and wife team that are starting to come now. And we just, tonight, a young lady showed up, and she's interested in the sewing lab as well. And 2 weeks ago, another young lady showed up, and she didn't show up last week because she brought her own sewing machine. She didn't show up last week because she said she had things to do with her kids, but she then showed up tonight. You know, so I think there are people out there that are interested in, and this woman from Huntington, she just started a few weeks ago, and now she's already come a couple times. So I think that effort needs to be put into publicity and also into creating that sense of community, and I think that can really drive the program and help to make it successful. So,
The
but no guarantees on it.
National Bank of Millbury has run quite a few little programs like that. Like I attended a felting. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I did not do well. But that's okay. I like, okay, that's off the list. Anyway, flower decorating. I mean, there are so many things that they run, and they run them like that. You know, 3 or 4 sessions. They bring somebody in, you meet at the bank, and they you know, there's a fee that includes the whatever materials you need and so on. And this group of women, they come like all of them. You know, they didn't want a glass blowing, you know, and it wasn't, you know, some they move, but a lot of times they can do them there. So there's a need. I mean, I will tell you, there's a lot of people that really enjoyed that. They're crafters. Go ahead.
So right now, people that come to the Makery, is it somebody that's like, oh, I need a sewing machine? So so right now it's drop in?
Yes.
So you could just show up and, okay, and is that what most of the people are, or are they there to learn how to sew? Or is it a mix of all that, or, you know, how?
Most of them come in with their own independent projects, and that's one conversation that Faith and I have had, because she thinks there's an opportunity to structure it more so that there's actually the instruction of skills that are going along with these sessions. And so that's like remain to be seen, but something that potentially could be of benefit. But largely they're coming in to take advantage of having the equipment, being around other people who have knowledge and experience. Like Faith is, like everybody comes to want to learn from Faith because Faith knows how to sew. And so,
So it is more, I don't know how to sew.
Correct.
And I want to learn, or I've got to sew something, I don't know how to sew. Oh, the Makery? Oh, cool. I'll just drop in and get the, you know, figure it out from an expert.
Yeah, and they're just
more that way.
Yes, more that way.
Okay.
There's just definitely a wide variety of levels of knowledge and expertise. They do learn from each other, but yeah, it's very unstructured.
Because I would imagine if you already knew how to sew, or you were a big sewer, you would have a sewing machine. You wouldn't be coming to the Makery. So
I don't know. This one woman she loved her sewing
Really?
machine here. This time she didn't bring it because she knows we have sewing machines.
Okay.
But I think it's being part of that community. If they just don't know enough, they can ask some other people.
So it might be there might be an aspect of wanting to come hang out with people.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I think happens now and has in the past. I'm going to call a question. We have quite a few things here to review, and some people are trying to go on vacation. Anyway, questions. The other thing is we can always review this, by the way, and I think that's something, you know, have you come and say, no, it's not working, or we changed this. To, you know, in regards to the adult ed, and you're right, things grow, they spring, you know, programs change, whatever. And then you can come and say, hey, I have some interest in this, you know, let's have that. But anyway, in the adult ed format, it's going to publicize what's going on and how it works and so on. And we have somebody who can answer those questions and do those things, which right now we just don't have that type of organized structure. And that's part of it.
Can I ask a quick question before we do this? Sure. Right now, can under 18 people participate? And would that be something that would continue if it gets folded into adult education?
We have a release form, I can't remember the age, but it's some young age you have to have a parent with you, and a slightly older age you can get your parent to sign off that you can come.
Okay. We actually had a student makery at one point.
Yes.
Same thing.
16 for the construction lab, it's 14 for the sewing lab.
Thank you for that. So, motion, I think you had something up on one of those that was helpful. And it's, I know it's option B.
Is it on your paper by chance?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something the
There's
most
a
up
link.
to date.
I don't think the order's right, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I can find it.
I think it's the last slide there.
Fifth page,
I'll make a motion,
Third page?
or third
to
page rolling
approve the
in.
transition of the Makery into an adult education program beginning in the fall of 2026.
Second.
Second. Any other questions? Seeing none, if you are in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, and I can't see online, sorry.
We voted yes.
Any opposed? Nobody opposing online? Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you very much for the
Thank you.
presentation.
I'm excited to see what we can do with this.
Like I said, if you need to come back and talk to Nicole and.
Awesome. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for taking us on.
My pleasure.
Okay, the next action is donations that occurred for the fine tires. Listed, I have the hard copy, a bunch of donors, total amount is
12, 17, 220, or 2,600-ish.
money used for transportation, I'm guessing.
Can I address this? Since
Hold on. Challenges, I'm just reading from the whole piece, but obviously you have fees probably to get into competitions and so on, am I correct? And only because the person that runs the program isn't here. Any other things that money would be used for? Anybody know? No?
So, what happened is the club was very successful this year, and they actually got invited to 5 different competitions, from West Virginia to the Big E, and they thought that the state FLL robotics group was going to be paying the entrance fees for the Big E, which was $1,500, and they found out that they were not. So they had to do a bunch of fundraising at the last minute, which is what this is. But they've been invited to go all over the country. They've really been hitting it out of the park, and they really only decided to do this one. So, and that's for hotels, transportation, food, and fees, entrance fees.
So again, it's a donation, so I need a motion to accept the donation. So, thank you, second. Steve Parks, thank you. All those in favor say yes
Can I ask a
or
question, Kate? Well, is this money already been received and you guys are managing it?
They've been trickling in,
Okay.
without looking at the full list. I don't know to date if we received all the funds, but we received the majority of them.
Okay.
Unless you know more, David.
All I know is that Dan was updating this today with money coming in, so.
So you've got some of it, but not all
But
of
we
it.
were setting up a student activities account, to manage the entire thing, just like we do.
Okay.
Food booth and all the things.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. So I can imagine there may be more donations, being a possibility. Okay, thank you.
There are more donations, and they're gonna look at fundraising year-round.
Okay, thank you. Donation for automotive technology and mechanical science.
I'll just say that, someone donated or wants to donate a, Honda Accord of valued at $2,800. $2,875 to mechanical sciences, and they will use that to teach students, all the things that they learn in mechanical sciences.
Who appraised it?
I did. No, Hayden did. He used, Blue Book.
Blue Book, thank you. Okay, that's not my only question. Any other questions from anybody? Take a motion to receive that as a donation from somebody.
Sure.
Thank you, Bill. Second?
Second.
Lauren? Okay. All those in favor, or excuse me, do you have any questions? Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. Is that something they could sell, or are they just gonna work on?
Could wind up selling it
Yeah.
at some point, and typically what they do is the money goes into the enterprise account for the program.
Yeah, I think that's Hayden's intent, because the car got dropped off today, actually,
Yeah.
and we were talking about seeing it on the road and at some point.
There you go.
For the kids, it can be used for internal combustion as well as battery, because it is a hybrid.
Yep.
So now we come upon a second read on a variety of policies. Second read means we are approving, is that correct, Steve?
That is correct. So these
And-
all need to be voted on.
Okay, so the other piece was, he asked, past meeting, to, if you had any questions or additions or anything like that, to please refer them to that committee. Did you guys need to make any changes on any of these, or?
Not on these, individual committee members have responsibility for these policies, so I can't speak to all of them.
Right.
But if you do have any questions, hopefully the relevant person is here. So.
Okay, so we need to accept them with obviously no changes at this point until the VSBA or somebody else makes a change. Anyway, so number 8 is the second read for C5 for firearms. I mean,
If you want, you could do them all as one motion.
I was gonna ask. You've nixed me so far, so. Anyway, okay, so 8 through, let's go, 14. 14. Okay.
I move that we accept all the policies listed for second read, which include C5 firearms, C6 participation of home study students, C7 student attendance, C12 professional sexual harassment, C14 grievance protocol for students and staff, C15 student conduct and discipline, and C16 student use of cell phones.
Thank you. Wow, that list went down, thank you. Anyway, all those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Yes, okay, good. Anybody opposed? Seeing none, thank you for all that work. I know somewhere, a lot of change somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to update you when we get down to the first reads on those. We're almost done.
Awesome.
And so that means that almost the entire policy manual has been reviewed this year. So
Nice job.
Well, kudos to the committee, because they did most of the hard work. So
Good job. Number 15, new ends report. Schedule.
So the board has the adopted ends policies, which I report on each year. We also have a number of other required reports each year to include these new board rule reports that I have to do. So what I'm asking is we put these in a schedule so that they aligned with the work as it actually happens. So for example, when the audit comes out, the report about the audit is then. And when the CLNA is due, the report about curriculum is then. And we also work real hard to spread them out over the year so you don't have a big glut of reports any given time. So this is the schedule which we're proposing, the annual schedule of all of these required reports that I'm hoping the board might accept so that we can move forward with that.
Any questions? I need a motion to accept these recommended
So moved.
Recommended calendar.
I move to accept this recommended calendar report schedule to the board.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Christine. All those in favor, excuse me, any questions? All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. 16, I believe this request to cancel the April Facilities Committee meeting because someone's out of town.
And that falls during break.
I thought you and I decided we were gonna try to have it on Monday the 27th.
Do you want to change the request to the board? You have to ask the board chair.
I don't know, I haven't talked to you, so.
Well,
I think we had talked and she'd said, nah, we'll do it in May.
Okay.
I like it.
So we need to make a motion to cancel that.
I've got a hand up from
Judd.
Judd.
Go ahead, Judd. I'm sorry.
Not that this has to happen right now, but with the facilities committee that I'm part of, my work schedule has changed in such a way that I don't know that I'll be able to do morning meetings on any of the 5 weekdays, but I'm wondering if the group would be willing to change to afternoon or evening meetings when I would be able to get home from work and join online. We don't have to discuss this all right now, but I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts if you have them.
Can I make a suggestion? You send an email to the people on that committee and ask them directly?
That's a great idea, thank you.
Just only because I can say yes or no, but I'm not on that committee. Thank you. Anyway, go ahead and do that. And who is not here on that committee? Dan, is he on that committee?
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, if it goes to email, then you know you have at least put it out there to.
Great, good idea, thank you.
But thank you for trying
So
to
do
attend.
we need to vote on canceling the April meeting?
Yes, we do. That's the motion on the floor. All those in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Vance-
Anybody
Vance
opposed
seconded.
to it? No. So meeting's canceled. Thank you. So reports to the board. I know there, I was trying to think, obviously negotiations we don't need, budget, facilities, we have a little something to talk about. In the meantime, our fearless leader is going to give her report.
This is the good news report. I'm really excited about today's superintendent report. You saw, the first good news was the staff and student data from the CLNA. That is the best data I have ever seen as an educator of those types of surveys. So that's just really exciting. Other good news is I was elected to be on the executive committee of the Addison County Economic Development Corporation. So I think that's really good for our center, for me to be able to be on that executive committee and sort of guide that work and also inform the programs here as to what is needed in the community. I also want to report back, we've talked a lot about enrollment and about outreach to students to our north and to our south who were not able to get into their own CTE centers. This year we were successful, and I want to give a huge shout out to the director of Stafford's Technical Center, Melissa Connor. She paved the way for us by communicating with each and every one of our sending school principals that I would be calling. And so when I called, they were ready and helpful. And we received every name and address and phone number of every student that was denied from Stafford. And we have sent packets of information to every high school principal, every counselor in that region, and a personal letter to every child and family saying that what we do and who we are and that they're invited to apply. And our counselor is also going to make personal phone calls to every single student. And we're in the process of doing the exact same thing now to the north. So we've already sent out the principal and counselor packets to all the sending school districts that serve the Center for Technology Essex and Burlington Tech. And then they are currently doing their acceptances. So after spring break, once that process is over, we'll be sending the letters out to students and inviting them to apply. I don't know what will come of it, but we're very excited. We are already getting phone calls from families, so that's a good sign. So
Nice work.
So I'm really excited. We'll see what happens. I also wanted to talk about our auto and diesel. So Chuck and David and Chris and Craig put together a auto and diesel job fair. So last night, Wendy was able to be there. They invited industry partners and auto and diesel partners around the community that are hiring, and students and their families to come in. And it was a really well-attended event, really exciting, and the work of the teachers. So I hope lots of jobs come from that, from both sides. And it also, we had a lot of parents just beaming with pride at the stuff that their students were doing. It was like a second mini open house just for North Campus. We also, you might remember that this year we're doing a new process. We have been struggling each year with the difference, the delta between the number of students who apply and the number of students who enroll. So this year we've done a new process, which we're actually mirroring after many other CTE centers, where the students turn in a decision letter, kind of like when you're going to college, that says, yes, I'm going to accept the seat I was offered. There's some bumps in communication along with this, but it's we are starting to have those decision letters come back in, and we're very hopeful that this new process will minimize the delta of up to 100 kids that we've had between how many accepted, how many applied and how many enrolled. So I'll keep the board notified as when we get that data to see if maybe this is going to help. Other really good news is we have 9 new LNAs in the state of Vermont as of this Wednesday. We had 9 students test and 9 students pass the LNA exam, and that is a rigorous exam. That is, they have a practical and a written exam, and an outside tester comes in and tests the students, so it's not us. This is a third-party testing process. I don't know if Stephanie hung in there. She was on there for a little bit.
She's here.
But she just, I cannot tell you how impressed I have been over the last 2 years at the turnaround of our medical professions program. We have 22 applicants for medical professions for next year. So we might even have to have a waiting list for this program for the first time. So I'm very excited.
Nice work.
She also provided what I think is just awesome. So Walker Whitaker, a 2019 graduate, is now a nurse that's working at Porter in the emergency department and has won the Daisy Patient Care Award, has had 11 nominations and 2 awards, and is currently in nurse practitioner school. We have Emma Deering from 24, who's now a sophomore at VTSU in nursing and a member of the Student Nurse Association. Hunter Lloyd, graduate of 24, is currently a full-time EMT at Brandon Rescue. Lexi Purley, 25, is an LNA at Helen Porter and working and studying at the University of New England for her nursing degree. We have Alexis Padden Lathrop of 25, who's an LNA working at Porter Medical and a student at VTSU Castleton for nursing. We have Megan Porter, 25, who's an LNA working at Virgin's Primary Care at UVM. We have Madeline LaDuke, who is a current student, graduate 26, working part-time at the dental assistant at Middlebury Dental Group and is going full-time as soon as she graduates. We have Caitlin Busby, who will be graduating and is working part-time at a home health aid place called Bayeda, and she has already been accepted to the nursing program at VTSU. We have Alyssa Warren, who's graduating this year, who is working part-time right now as a medical assistant at Porter and is going to go full-time after graduation. And Sierra Miller, who is part-time at Helen Porter right now and will transition to full-time after graduation. So our medical professions program is doing fantastic. So thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you all for your support. The students were just phenomenal this week. It was really amazing to see, and we got some pretty incredible feedback from our third-party evaluator on just how well prepared they were, how confident they were, and how easy they made her job. So that's all music to my ears. So thank you guys all for your support.
In addition to the fantastic news from LNA land, we also have fantastic news from Skills USA. So we had, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, just under 20 kids go to our Skills USA competition. And of those, we have, in the medical professions field, we had a bronze of Sadie Shepard for first aid CPR. Frank McTavish won a gold for medical math. Timothy Plowman won a bronze for advertising design. Morgan Beanan won a gold for pin design. We swept the podium for diesel. We had Trip Stone as a bronze, Peyton Lavoie as a silver, and Dylan Lane as a gold. For construction, we had a bronze for carpentry from Juan De La Cruz. We had a gold for Morgan Beenan for design. We had a gold for Dylan Lane for diesel equipment. Oop, that's on the wrong one, sorry. That was repeats. Those are repeats, sorry. So, sorry, construction technology was Juan De La Cruz who won the bronze for carpentry. And then also the students who are gold participants who won a gold medal get to go to the nationals in Atlanta the first week of June. So our nationals will be Frank McTavish for medical math, Morgan Beenan for pin design, and Dylan Lane for diesel equipment technology. So 3 students that are going to nationals from one center is a pretty big deal. Yeah. So congratulations to all those kids and teachers.
You don't happen to know that McTavish kid, do you?
I do. Yes. Funny story. He didn't read the paper when he went and didn't know to bring a calculator. So everybody in the room had a calculator except him, and he won gold doing everything longhand.
That's impressive.
And I suggested that the superintendent tag along the field trip for, because we need some chaperones.
Yeah. So it's been a just, even though it's this time of year where everything's crazy, this is the reason we do this work, these successes of these amazing kids and their teachers who are doing such a nice job instructing them in these things. So excellent, good news.
Are you done?
I am done.
Good job.
Nice job.
Chrissy, are you still online? No, is she still on? Yep. Hey girl, you want to talk about, Nicole came over and met at Porter Hospital with HR. There was some barriers traditionally with hirings from, people that do get their LNAs and so on. Had a pretty lengthy discussion. And Chris, if you want to talk about what's evolved from that.
Yeah, for those, I'll just remind you that my position at Porter is Director of Clinical Services. So I oversee all of nursing, LNAs, MAs, they all roll up through me. And so Nicole came over and met with myself and our Chief Nursing Officer, Linda Heavey, and our Manager of HR, Tara Farrell, because it's so cumbersome to actually get students in positions. And the meeting was requested months before, but what ended up happening was we had a student that was just getting the runaround, and everybody gave her glowing accolades about being an employee at Porter, and she is one that Nicole did mention. But what has come out of that is Bob Wertmeyer, our president, has approved 3 student interns that are interested in healthcare professions. So it doesn't necessarily need to be an LNA, but that is who we are thinking would be best for this as a further pipeline. So 3 positions have been posted. I had the opportunity to talk to Kim earlier in the week, and Kim attended our board meeting. And I personally want to say, my number, I gave it to Kim. I am happy to help any student. I'm happy to come to the school and help. I live right here in East Middlebury. I don't want to have the feedback that it's not, accessible for students to apply. Our HR department is under construction. I'll say that in a way that is it's going to come out way better, but we've just had a lot of turnover. And so I really just want to put myself forward for that, because I definitely love when the students come for us. So this program would look like actually paid intern hours outside of our contract bargaining unit. It would be a summer position. We are hopeful that the positions are posted and those students could start as early as late May, June, run through the 3rd week in August, and then actually be moved into per diem spots to be able to pick up if they are attending college and are coming back to the area. Just giving them exposure all over the hospital and really have them integrated into the field. So it's exciting. Again, we have 3 positions. I do know we have 1 application right now. So hot off the press. I am away for break next week. So if you have somebody that you think that you would recommend for this, please reach out to me.
The other conversation I had with Linda Higgy yesterday was the obstacles regarding the application for the UVM institutions and how that works. And I understood that there'll be some people coming in working with Stephanie's group to talk about that, how to navigate that application process, because it is a little, everybody discovered it was kind of wanky. Anyway, that general discussion has gone to the UVM board. It's also something that's, take a look at there, because there were some UVM students that had some barriers of trying to get in. So it's going to help a lot of the employment issues of us, hopefully. And Port has been very good about eliminating travelers, which are very expensive. So if we can do that, and again, keep these people in the area or come back, hopefully, for employment in Addison County, all better. But thanks, Chris, for all your work. Much appreciated. Regarding facilities, now, we're not going to have that meeting, but there's something that David, Nicole, and I talked about in regards to our next project, and obviously it's a timeliness thing, so we're gonna, David, I guess we'll talk about that right now, regarding the timing and what kind of decisions we have to make, just to make sure we don't lose the money in the funding. Yes.
So I just wanted to let you know, we have a commitment for funding for $1 million for North Campus. The interest rate's 4.99%. It's for 15 years. And what I'm hoping to do is, because it's within our budget, we didn't feel like we needed to, for the interest payments and all, we didn't feel like we needed to get a motion to sign the commitment, but we will come back at the next board meeting to get a motion to sign, to get permission and do a board resolution to sign all the loan documents. So just let you know that we're going to sign the commitment in the next few days or next week, and then we'll come to you in the May board meeting for a resolution for closing.
Rather than have another meeting. Bill.
So is this going to cover all the HVAC work and the
coming back? But the big tickets are what we talked about last time, was the roof and the ERUs, the energy recovery units. That's about $616,000. There's also work going to be happening on all the controls, so adding thermostats where they need to be, and air movement, and things like we're putting an alarm in the diesel and the auto lab, so if the quality of the air gets at a certain point, the alarm goes off. And there's fans that clear the air. We are putting a fiber optic and electric fiber optic out to the barn so that we can have alarms and paging. We're doing a little bit on the building access. We're doing a little bit on, we're doing a lot on the paging system. One of the risks that we've identified is that if there's an emergency, an alarm, or a page, no one can hear it. So they're redoing that to flash lights and to do a buzzer before the page goes out, and that'll also happen out at the barn. And by the way, if this works, that model will be implemented here as well in another phase. They're redoing all the windows. All of the windows are the caulking and the sealing. The rubber seal has all gone bad, and so they're redoing that. They're also going to come and redo these windows. It's very cheap, so we've asked them to do that as well. All right, I think you guys remember we had a snowstorm in our office this year. And a number of smaller things. If and when we have a facilities meeting next, they are supposed to present those priorities to the facilities committee meeting, to the facilities committee members, to make sure that we're all on board.
Okay, awesome. Any questions? I suggested that we talk about this a little bit tonight, especially on the time frame, to make sure that we didn't have to have another meeting. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, David.
Thanks. Good work.
In policy, we talked about them already. Guys, great job. And on negotiations, we're quiet for the moment. There has been some conversation regarding the attorney that worked with us during the mediation process. And we could talk about that later. Vance, you've indicated you might want to join that group. Again, think about it. Don't say no yet. Don't say no yet. Anyway, thank you very much for that. Number 3 is the board retreat. Nicole and I sat down and said, August 20th meeting, do it coincide with the meeting that we have scheduled that day. You notice the hours would be from 4 to 8. The last time we did this, we used Debbie Ziegler from VSBA. She worked with us regarding goals, board goals, which we need. And she would be a very good person to continue that conversation during that retreat time as part of the agenda. The other thing is the board calendar. I think those would be 2 appropriate, timely pieces that would help us a great deal, and it would gather us together and we deal with them. And she'd be very helpful with doing both of those, providing it meets her calendar schedule. I'm not sure. Nicole, have you talked to her yet or anything?
No, I don't.
Okay. Gives her enough time, hopefully, to be here. Currently on a board, just gets it. I enjoyed working with her. I try not to put too much on that agenda because they can be lengthy conversations, but they're worthwhile. I think for us to sit down and talk about those things. We need the goals so that when we do evaluate and call, we have them and we know where they're going to go. So I made the executive decision of doing that.
The question is, on the 20th, the regularly scheduled meeting, does that mean that we will not be trying to conduct any other board business? It would be the first meeting. It would be the first meeting of the school year.
Correct.
So I don't.
Haven't decided.
Okay.
Okay. And again, whatever comes up, we could be doing meet stuff. Who knows? Anyway, that's a tentative thing. Please put it on your calendar. We'll adjust as needed, I guess is the word for it.
Judd.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we at one time had a very brief idea of having this meeting at North Campus and having a little bit of time to tour the North Campus and see the classrooms up there. If that's still something that would interest me to walk around and familiarize myself with that campus a little more.
Providing we're not bothering any construction that may be going on.
Yeah.
Done. They'll be done. They'll be done. So
Okay,
sure.
great.
And what, a few years ago, we were up there. We had a wonderful storm that took place during that time.
That was a welcome storm.
Yeah, that was a welcome storm.
We're gonna have it on the roof, the new roof.
Yeah.
So I have a question about summer meetings, and I'm sorry, but August for some people is still summer. Have we ever considered doing that in September?
We have occasionally had a meeting in July, and we said, no, we're not doing that anymore. I'm not a good person to ask that, because I go to a lot of meetings every week, even during vacations. So, comments from anybody else?
I think unfortunately it's the nature of the beast, like all the other school districts go back to work then and they hold their board retreats at the end of August too, so. Not that it's ideal, Bill, but.
You gonna be able to Zoom that for us? He's not paying attention.
No, because he may be away.
I'm out of town.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, but I hope it's a vacation.
It is.
I mean, we don't, in Addison Northwest, our board retreat is separate from our board meeting.
Right.
Completely.
We're just trying to put it together a little bit and make it something we complete.
Yeah.
Which would be very refreshing, because it's been a long time since we completed. Anyway, and we all know that you have other boards, a lot of people do at this table, that they also have meetings. And I'm sure Middlebury meets in August. Yep. Anyway.
And that week, at least teachers are back.
Yeah.
So
it gets busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, it gets busy. I have sort of the benefit, I guess, of going away at other times, but I just don't go away. That's my problem, nobody else's. Anyway, enjoy your time, send pictures, buy us all gifts, whatever you need to do.
I kind of work around my wife's schedule for things like that.
I know that. That's good for you. I can't get my husband to go anywhere, so it's on my schedule. But anyway, okay. Update to public education transformation. Nicole, are you willing to translate all the hearings? as
Right,
much
so
as you
we're
can?
getting down to the finish line, and Senate Bill 313 is real now. So they're just tweaking language at this point, but we're very close to it being done. The bill is largely innocuous. It is largely aspirational in nature, saying that CTE is important and Vermont needs CTE, and we want to make sure the kids can go to CTE and all those sorts of things. There are a couple of areas where either I'm saying yay or a couple areas where I'm concerned, but nothing is terrible and nothing is great in this. It's a good bill to move things forward, I think, for what we need. The one area where I'm a little bit concerned is it does continue this narrative of expanding CTE into middle school into the first 2 years of regular high schools. I'm not opposed to that, but I just don't know where that money would come from. That's a lot more CTE programming and a lot more teachers in a system where the intent is to be cutting cost. The other piece that I think is good, but again, I'm a little bit wondering where the money's coming from, is transportation. There seems to be intent to transport kids even when they're out of service area, which I think is great. And actually, if you're going to spend some money someplace, this would be the place to do it so that kids can have access. I do wonder though how that would shake out. I think that I think it would be fair sort of for us to split it with a sending school district in another area or something like that, but there isn't language here which explains it, just the intent is here. There's also some intent about offering hybrid programs, like sort of online kind of thing, and I'm not entirely sure that's the point of CTE. Most students don't take CTE to do distance learning, so that concerns me just a little bit. The other piece is that they did actually write into this language that whatever funding system ends up happening, which they don't describe here, but that it needs to remove the disincentives, such as the money following the student. So the intent language is here, which sets the stage for the further work. There's some good language in here about ensuring that sitting high schools award the credits that CTE centers say that the student has earned. It's not strong enough yet, and that's the feedback I've given, because there's already language in statute that says that has to happen, and it still doesn't happen. So there's a lot of pushback from regular K-12 high schools about that. I think there's questions about whether or not our credits are legitimate, which don't get me started. But there is intent language here, and I'm hopeful that together, collaboratively with all the players, that we can make sure that students are getting each and every credit that they're due. There's very strong language about getting the state board rules for career technical education updated. These board rules are over 20 years old. They're antiquated, and it's time. I heard from I can't remember her name, but the person who runs the state board, and this is a big lift because they're essentially, I didn't know this, they're volunteers on that committee. I think the lead might get paid or something, but most of these people are volunteers, and this is a lot of work. Think of the policy work that we do, and this is pages and pages and pages of career technical education rules and regulations. So it is a big lift, but boy is it time. So I'm hopeful that that will actually move forward. See, is there anything else? There's also kind of an interesting thing. So they didn't know how to tackle governance, and I think there wasn't enough time, and it's very complicated. So what they've done is they formed a work group made up of a whole bunch of legislators, 15 or so legislators, who are tasked with working collaboratively with the Career Technical Education Directors Group and the Superintendent's Group to decide how to deal with governance for CTE. So essentially, they're starting the conversation, but there's no language in here which has any direction. But they're putting it in writing that we have to start thinking about it. So the effect of this bill probably won't have large effects right away for us, but it's setting the stage for the work to happen. And it could make a difference with the intent language around credits might be able to help students sooner rather than later, because that's one of the easier things in this big lift to tackle.
Any questions?
I have a quick financial one. Is there any direction on the funding mechanism? So you're saying that's status quo or until the new revisions coming after that.
Right, the bill, as it's probably gonna go through because we're pretty close now, it just says that we need to make one that doesn't disincentivize CTE.
And they're talking about decoupling the foundation formula with all the other education reforms so that whether we get a map or not, we can put foundation formula so that can be done.
Any questions? Seeing none, another hot item from Austin. Which is the update.
Yeah,
Why hot?
so this is a quick placeholder. I think the meat of the conversation will evolve next month. So we had a great conversation with our auditors this morning. They are nearing the final stages of having our audit final. It'll come any day now. We were hoping to have a draft for tonight's discussion. It's not ready yet, but we have confidence by the end of the month we'll have a final for us. The crux of this morning's conversation was around some technical transfers between funds, but it's nothing that's out of the ordinary from what we had presented to them in prior conversations. So I feel good. I feel we're in a good position to have a final draft in the next few days or certainly 2 weeks. And then once we do have closure on that, we'll invite Samantha to come back. She's our lead auditor from RH&R Smith. She'll do a similar presentation once we have that in hand. And it really dovetails with what Dave is working on with the financing to have that set so we can sign the final documentation with the financing company and continue forward. And anything you'd add to that, David?
Excuse me, Bill.
A quick question, which kind of has dovetails into the stuff for David. So it's my understanding that until the audit for that year is actually done, we have to go outside standard channels to borrow. Is that correct?
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
No.
Oh, I thought that we could get better rates if we had the audit done already.
Oh, that was one bank when we were trying to get it 20 years.
Okay.
They wanted to see, they were like, we can't do that until we get our financials. We just decided we're gonna get a better rate going 15 years, so, and we figured, fit it in the budget, so, you know, it saves interest, it saves $100,000 of interest, I think, or not 100, a good bit of interest, so.
Okay.
We're going with that.
All right, good work.
I think as far as going outside the normal process, typically that gets into the bonding versus going the alternative route that we're going into, but having an audit in place is just standard practice for what we're doing anyway. The bond bank requires it for the bond we already have on the main campus.
Right, but more of what I'm talking about is prior to you being here, we were always trying to catch up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're still catching up, and this will sort of get us back to par, and then the goal really is once we have closure on fiscal year 26 after June, to then move into the audit for fiscal year 26 this summer, and have a final audit in the fall when we get into next year's budgeting cycle again.
Cool.
So it's been a long slug to get to that, and I think I just want to sing David's praises to no end because it's been, it's a tag team effort, but he really is a magician to help with this project. So I have to thank him for all the hard work he's done.
You guys slept in for about a year and a half.
Speaking of, Sue is our new finance assistant, is amazing.
Oh,
We
nice.
love her. She's so excited and happy to be here. And it's just such a relief to have someone on the team that's moving forward, so.
Okay.
Plus she knows Tyler and is very stable, and she knows school districts, and she knows tech centers, and she gets enterprise connected. Like, the language is not new to her, and yeah, we're excited for what's coming once we can really fire on all cylinders. So
good to hear.
Yeah.
And her praise of being a very good teacher. And I encourage you to take a look at the list and see who needs to sign up to take care of signing for Bill, since Bill's going to be away a little bit. He is very faithful and very good about going in there.
If he remembers to sign off.
Yeah.
We do need signage.
I made them do, I gotta look at these, will you?
I'm on for next week.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I know I'm on, but I was gonna ask you.
And you can check that online, but it's a learning curve, but it's a good,
Can you
good
just
thing to
make
do.
sure I'm pretty
It's a good way to know what we're spending money on.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. And how the office operates.
We have Bill again next week.
See?
No. Bill and Christina.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, just a heads up on that. We have some first readings on 4 policies.
Yes.
I don't know which one of your group wants to.
I can do C11 and C13. These are all but, was it 4 policies? Well, when we get these 4 done, we'll have 4 more, and then we'll be done with the policy review. C11, student freedom of expression in school-sponsored media. I took that one. It has not changed. Our initial policy was based on the 2022 VSBA version. VSB has not updated that policy, therefore we do not need to update our policy. And so it will be carried forward as is. C13 is exactly the same thing, students who are homeless. Again, it is a policy that was revised in 2022 and it has not been revised since. Therefore, we've simply reviewed it and it's all set to go. D1, I can't remember who has that one. Laura?
No, not it.
No, okay.
Sorry.
Was that you, Christina?
I don't think so, but
It might be Dan.
wasn't that the one
Which
that we
number is
talked
it again?
about?
D1
We don't
about
have
emergency-based graduation requirements.
Is
Wasn't it?
wait.
So the deal was that we don't have
Right.
that.
Right. I thought you were gonna contact the VSBA to ask about that.
No, that was about the comparability ones.
Oh, okay.
So we have a policy already on the books. It has not changed, and therefore probably that this is it's exactly the same. In other words, travel reimbursement. I know somebody else said that.
That's fine. So the third link on there shows the marked up version of what's changed from what we have already adopted. The strikeouts in red are what's going away, and the blue is the new parts of the policy. But basically, they just kind of reworded it and itemized the administrative responsibilities related to reimbursement for district employees. So it's pretty straightforward.
This is the first read. We do not need to vote on any of these. They're just available, and the links are there for you to be able to look at the policies and review at your leisure. The next review for second read, what used to be called second read, has to be 10 days later. So in greater than 10 days, you'll be seeing these on another agenda as second reads, and that's all I have.
And I would just add for D1, it is required, even though the Career Center doesn't practice proficiency-based graduation requirements. So it's kind of a weird policy to adopt, but we're required to adopt.
They're required, but we don't graduate anybody.
Right.
So
Like that. It's a weird thing, but
yeah,
to be on the safe side, I guess.
Again, the links are there. If you have comments, you know who to send it to somebody. Like Deanne was not here. Then we go.
or you can send it to me and I'll get it to the right person.
Thank you. Seeing no questions, we will not have an executive session. I'll announce that now.
Oh, great.
It's really not happy. Anyway, we do have somebody who requested a public comment earlier. If you'd like to do that now.
Thank you, I was very patient.
Yes, you were.
We knew we had you captive.
You couldn't leave.
Sorry, yes, I was a good lead. For the minutes, I'm Drew Darrow from Middlebury. I really love the Makery. I go as frequently as I can with the job that I have. And I think a structured program would really benefit the community because there are those kinds of sewing classes in the community now. They are very prohibitively expensive. I mean, several $100s per session, and that doesn't count the materials that you have to also purchase. I think this could be really great. Jennifer, the new adult services librarian, at the Ilsley Public Library is looking to begin putting things together like this, so she may be a great resource to bring other people into it. There's already some partnership with the library that you can rent passes. You can check out passes to go to the Makery for free, and the library is no barrier. And the fee that I saw compared to other places in Vermont alone, let alone Middlebury, is basically free. So I think, and having a structured plan, because while I can sew, I can't press a French seam, right? So I can alter my pants, but there are other things that I would love to take classes on to be able to learn. So like, I really encourage the board to support that. I think that'd be really great for the community. And you know, not only could you bust in the retirement communities to come in and take sewing classes or teach sewing classes, also the Ilsley Library is looking to partner with things like that too. So well, I think this is all really a great evolution for the Makery. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
You're elected chair of the advisory
Yeah.
committee. So true about.
By the way.
503.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I'm also doing that right now with Dan.
Done.
In the public comment section, I'd like to just give a major, huge shout out to Eric of the ART class. I'm going to throw out a few dates here if anybody's interested in theater. One of these days it will be more concise soon. At the very end of April, they're going to be performing at the Paramount Theater in Rutland. The ART class here at the Career Center was one of only 2 classes for the New England Drama Fest that went from the local schools and they advanced to state, and then from the state they're now one of only 2 classes to go on to New England from Vermont, so they've done a really great job. They are the only school that has written their entire own show. It's a completely original script and everything. It involves shadow puppetry. It is fantastic. It's called My Sister Heracles. And then locally on May 13th in the evening, they're going to be performing it at the Town Hall Theater here in Middlebury. They were just going to do a little side hustle thing in the courtyard, and then the person who runs the Town Hall Theater and sets up the things had been hearing all about this from the judges and said, actually, this needs to be on the main stage in the evening. So if anybody's interested in really interesting theater put on by students from the ART, May 13th in the evening at Town Hall Theater would be a wonderful show. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Helpful. Anybody else? Board reflection. I apologize for the time, but it was a very lengthy agenda. And thanks for coming, on time. That's a really big thing. If you get to the meeting on time. Some of us have.
Sorry.
No, you came at the very appropriate time. I did notice that. I'm like, wow, did he have a feed in here? Because it's right when all of those things. Perfect. And the reason is, it just, some of us have to get here earlier to discuss other things, but it's just really, really helpful to keep you all informed about what's going on, what's happening. Liz sent me a message and said, you won't see my face tonight, but I'll be listening. Those types of things are helpful for me, knowing for whatever circumstances that you're making a genuine effort to get here. And I know that's hard sometimes. I know that's really, really hard, and some of us get a little crazy about that. But the dedication of a couple of us from the number of years we've been doing it, and these gentlemen asked me, and I was kind of lost. I was like, losing track. Anyway, and it really matters in the community, and we don't advertise this. Right? Who's on the board? And putting that out in a public, forum, because I think it helps when you do say that in the public. And for the hospital board, I always say in the toilet paper aisle, where you usually get most of your questions. For any board you might be on, wow, I didn't know that. That's the first thing they say, and then they want to know the construction of the board. And I think that's something that's really, really helpful to the community. Know that we have business people, they have advisory committees and all those other things. So that may be something that we could do, little bios or whatever. I think it's helpful for the community. Anyway, but thank you, everyone.
Put a target on all of us.
Right. Well, if you have a little bit of time, we'll sign you up for something else.
By the way, one thing I forgot is the kids who are the Tiger Drone Club have actually been doing the catering at the rec center for a bunch of things, and they've raised more than $500 doing that. And they're doing a good job. It's nice to see this really nerdy group having a ball.
They're a good group.
Yep.
And thank you, Bill, for your own.
We're not quite done.
Oh,
Yeah, we're-
I don't know
It
what
wasn't
you-
supposed to be public.
Sorry, it is. It's important. You didn't say anonymous. You put your name on the check. Thank you.
Someone's got to sign it.
You haven't got your wife to do that?
She doesn't know.
She doesn't know. Yay, secret's out, put it in the paper. Thank you, Bill, for doing that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Well, it's a fun group.
Miss Wendy, have a marvelous time.
Oh, thank you, yep.
And you're going with your sidekick,
Mrs. Mills,
Mrs. Mills, who
Yes.
has been subbing a little bit
yeah.
here.
Super sub.
Super sub.
Yeah.
And she's great. She's great. Keep it alive. Where are you going?
London. But,
I know.
yeah, anyway, let's not talk about it anymore. I do wanna, just say, keep an eye open in your emails for invitations coming up to Outstanding Student Breakfast Semester 2 will be May 7th and 8th. May 5th, just FYI, we will have our relocation drill, that we practice annually. And on May 28th at Virgins High School, we will have our celebration of learning.
Oh, is she doing it up there this year?
We are.
Well, thank you, Wendy. And the other dates for the next meetings are also on the agenda. Let you know. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. So moved. Second?
Second.
There it is. All those in favor? Yay.